Have you ever wondered what's really hiding in those places we're told to stay away from? You know, the abandoned buildings, the forgotten corners of the world. Well, today we're diving headfirst into that world with four true and frankly unsettling stories. This is where the thrill of discovery meets the absolute terror of the unknown. So, let's get into it. And that right there, that quote really gets to the heart of it, doesn't it? It's not just about, breaking a few rules. For some people, it's a genuine compulsion, this need to see what's behind that forbidden door. And as we're about to find out, that powerful drive can lead you to some truly terrifying places. So here's our roadmap for today. We're going to start with the mindset, the why behind it all. And then we're diving into four chilling encounters. Each one of these stories you see here peels back another layer of the very real dangers that can lurk in these abandoned places. Okay, so let's meet our first explorer. He actually describes himself as a bit of a recluse, someone who found a pretty unique passion. Instead of going out with friends, he was drawn to exploring these forgotten, abandoned places. And he usually did it all by himself. He found this strange kind of comfort in all the decay and a real thrill in the solitude of these forbidden spaces. And this wasn't some guy just wandering around aimlessly. No, he had a system, a very methodical hunt for the forgotten, using technology like Google Earth to uncover these hidden gems from the past. And it's this really disciplined, organized approach that makes the absolute chaos he eventually stumbles into all the more jarring. So this method of his, it leads him to what you think is the perfect find, a really old, dilapidated church way out in the middle of the woods. I mean, this is the kind of discovery urban explorers literally dream of. But this one came with something he absolutely did not expect. And right away, the first thing feels off. There's this old, deep well just sitting there, wide open. Now, curiosity gets the better of him, so he peers into the pitch-black darkness. And that's when he hears it for the very first time, a faint, rhythmic sound coming up from the deep. It was this steady, rhythmic clicking sound, definitely not dripping water. This was something more deliberate. The way he described it was like someone tapping a stick on a stone wall, over and over. He's kind of hypnotized by this strange sound, but eventually he manages to pull himself away and heads inside the church. And this is where his whole mindset just flips. See, he usually loves exploring basements. For him, they're like the heart of a location, where all the good stuff is. But this one, it felt different. For the first time ever, this seasoned solo explorer felt a genuine sense of dread, a premonition that, tragically, he decided to ignore. So he heads down, but a stair cracks, and he just tumbles to the bottom. As he's getting his bearings, he hears a voice. It's high-pitched, speaking total gibberish. But then it says, hello, just one time, clear as day. It's coming from a small, hand-dug tunnel. As he gets closer to investigate, the voice just stops. And then it's replaced by that same rhythmic clicking from the well. The sound wasn't just in the well anymore. It was in the church, with him, and it was getting closer. He scrambled out of there and never, ever looked back. Sometimes the danger isn't supernatural. It's very, very human. Our next story is about a group of friends who decide to sneak back onto this massive remote farm property, a place they'd already been chased away from once before. They thought it would be a funny little adventure, but what they actually stumbled into was deadly serious. So inside one of the barns, they found something just unbelievable. Dozens of high-end luxury cars. Porsches, Bentleys, Ferraris, you name it. A lot of them were already being parted out, hidden away. It was immediately obvious this wasn't just a farm. This was the hub of a massive, professional criminal operation. And they realized they were somewhere they really should not be. So they're about to bail, right? But one of the friends, a guy named John, climbs up on this big rock to get a better view of the whole property. The others are still kind of joking around. But when John turns back to look at them, his face is just completely drained of color. He's seen something over the tall grass that has scared him into total silence. So our narrator climbs the rock to see what John saw. And what he sees is a man sitting at a table whose face is a complete and total blank, just a smooth white surface where features should be. Next to him, a woman makes direct eye contact with them and immediately starts running. But she's not running away. No, she's running in a wide arc, trying to cut off their only escape route. They bolted, absolutely haunted by this impossible image of the faceless man. Okay, for our third encounter, the threat gets a whole lot more direct. This story takes place at a quarry down in Texas. It's a popular spot for cliff jumping, but it's also very much private property, and the owner makes her feelings pretty clear with signs everywhere, including one that says, "Trespassers will be shot on sight." So this situation just escalates disastrously over 2 separate visits. The first time ends with a pretty chilling threat. But then, a few months later, thinking there was safety in numbers, a much larger group decides to go back. And that assumption, that turned out to be a nearly fatal mistake. This was the warning they got on their first visit. I mean, no ambiguity, no idle threat. The owner picked up her phone and just said it. She made it crystal clear what the consequences would be if they ever got caught on her property again. Unfortunately for them, they didn't listen. So, on that second visit, this is the number of gunshots they heard. 8. And these weren't warning shots fired up in the air. No, these were close enough to send them all scrambling for their lives. This wasn't a scare tactic anymore. It was a full-on attack. They barely made it out of there. Our final story is about a local legend. You know the type. This massive, abandoned house that was rumored to have been deserted suddenly sometime back in the 90s. The story was that the family left everything exactly as it was, a perfect, dusty time capsule of a forgotten life. And it turns out the rumors were totally true. Inside, they find a calendar still hanging on the kitchen wall, frozen in time. May 1997. It's this incredibly chilling confirmation that for over 2 decades, this house has just been sitting here, untouched, almost like it's been waiting. But as they explored, the scene got more and more disturbing. The master closet was padlocked from the outside. Another bedroom floor was just covered in classified ads, all circled for things like quiet transactions. And then they got to the basement. They found 5 chairs, arranged in a perfect circle, and they were completely clean, free of the thick dust that covered absolutely everything else in the house. It was like they had just been used. And then the climax. While they're standing there in the basement, staring at those clean chairs, they hear it. A door closes upstairs. Then, footsteps, crossing the floor, moving directly towards the basement door. The house wasn't empty, and someone knew they were down there. They scrambled out a broken window just as they heard the basement door handle begin to rattle. All of these stories, they're so different, but they share this one terrifying common thread. They're about more than just trespassing. They're about crossing a line into a place that was left alone for a reason, and then making the horrifying discovery that you are not as alone as you thought you were. And that's really the question, isn't it? It gets to the heart of why we're so fascinated with these abandoned places, and also the deep fear of what might be waiting for us inside. Whether it's a criminal, a property owner who's been pushed to the edge, or something you can't even begin to explain, the risk is always there, just lingering in the dark.